THX 1138 is a cautionary tale about government control and societal compliance with government overreach. About totalitarian tyranny and how oblivious most people are to their reality living in a modern cage. This film is a science fiction dystopian masterpiece produced by Francis Ford Coppola, the director of other iconic films like Apocalypse Now, The Conversation, Dracula, and The Godfather. THX is directed by a young George Lucas, whom later would go on to direct a small indie movie with a little cultural impact named Star Wars. Before I go on, there will be spoilers ahead, so if you haven't watched THX 1138, do yourself a favor, pause this video, go on and watch it, and then return to this video. Believe me, you will love this film. The story is set in a dystopian megacity where every single aspect of people's lives is controlled by the state. They are under constant mass surveillance, reminiscent of the Orwellian universe of 1984. Or present-day Great Britain. The people are not allowed to have sexual intercourse with each other and reproduction is prohibited. Yeah, basically the rules that are applied to European men today and the opposite for immigrants. All people are dressed with the same white clothes, and everybody has their heads shaved, their very names being merely designation numbers, stripped of any unique features, stripped of any personality. But nothing wipes the personality of the people from the THX universe more than the government-prescribed pills, which every single citizen must take daily. Those pills are designed to suppress any emotion they might have: love, fear, envy, joy, or happiness, transforming them into obedient cattle whom work a tedious, monotone, and pointless job, making them just another literal cog in the machine. Am I the only one, or this aspect of the film is an exaggerated version of current-day society? Today, almost 1 in 8 people worldwide are or have been at least once in their lifetimes on prescribed antidepressants or SSRIs. And also, a big portion of today's children are prescribed Concentra or Ritalin for ADHD. Those drugs suppress the real personality of those children and later adults. I would argue that more than 95% of all people who are prescribed those drugs don't even need them. But you see, this is a very calculated plan to enslave us all, making us more obedient with each consecutive decade. Now that you already labeled me as a tinfoil hat conspiracy theorist and we strayed a bit far from today's subject, let's get back on track. Their source of entertainment are just some pathetic holograms with zero artistic value. I also noticed a pretty disturbing scene in the film where a man watches on repeat the same hologram of a guard fake beating a civilian. Maybe those holograms are made to siphon out all those people's anger or violent tendencies. Pretty similar of how Hollywood pushes for more and more violent movies with each consecutive decade. There is another very disturbing recurring scene in the film where people in the universe of THX have those fake confession booths with the image of Jesus Christ and the robot voice saying phrases like "You are a true believer, blessings of the state, blessings of the masses, work hard, increase production, prevent accidents, and be happy." Isn't this very similar with the World Economic Forum's promise of a future where you will own nothing and be happy? Eerily similar, to say the least. Now I think most of you know by now that I am a Christian, but I don't see the vision of George Lucas to be anti-Christian. On the contrary, I think he wanted to show how perverted and fake the mainstream version of Christianity that is depicted in movies or propagated by mainstream pastors from the charismatic movement of the evangelical movement. A very politicized version of Christianity that is reduced to the values of today's decadent civilization. I hosted an hour-long podcast with my boys about this very subject on our channel. I will link the video in the description below. The title of the film, THX 1138, is the same as the name of the protagonist of the story, played brilliantly by one of the best actors that Hollywood ever birthed, and that is Robert Duvall. You may know him from playing Il Consigliere from The Godfather, or the show-stealer performance from Apocalypse Now of Lieutenant Colonel Bill Kilgore.
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
Napalm in the morning! Yeah, I'm a big Sodom fan, if you haven't noticed. Here Robert Duvall delivers an Oscar-worthy performance. But of course, like in true Hollywood fashion, he didn't receive an Oscar because, of course, Oscars have always been worthless and have always been just kosher parties for producers who pat each other on the back and hand each other trophies for whom produced the best goy slop. Sorry for my little rant. Onto the film. The plot of the film is fairly simple. THX and his girlfriend LUH 3417 stop taking those emotion-altering pills prescribed by their government. Then they fall in love with each other, and LUH becomes pregnant. THX, taking the red pill so to say, seeing the world as it is, tyrannical and grey, he is separated from his girlfriend, becomes very rebellious, and his behavior has grave consequences. He is submitted to inhuman experiments, and then he has a trial where the government throws him in a re-education center along with other civilians. There he decides to break free from this tyrannical underground city. After a very long and dangerous chase, he finally escapes to freedom, leaving his fate inconclusive to the audiences. THX 1138 is a masterpiece of a film, exploring themes about government surveillance, government control, totalitarianism, freedom of speech, freedom of expression, human behavior control, big pharma, big government, human experiments, how our society is just an elaborate lab experiment for a handful of powerful people, but also touches on deeper themes such as religion, liberty of the individual, and love. In my humble opinion, this film excelled at predicting the future. Granted, it's a very highly exaggerated version of today's society, albeit we are not at the totalitarian stages of THX. Yet. Yeah, this is all I had to say about one of my favorite films of all time. I know you liked this video, and I know you like me. Or hate me. There's no in between. Works for me. So why don't you check out this video where I explain how Hollywood brainwashes you.
Subscribe, you silly Billy!